Hi, this is Leah, and I decided to do a Prezi. This is my first ever Prezi that I'm trying out here instead of PowerPoint, which is what I'm more familiar with. So I wanted to branch out and try something new for myself here. So I've included in this Prezi takeaways that I took from our Mary Connolly reading, from our implementations that we did throughout the week, and from our discussions. So at first, when I thought of learning about curriculum, it's kind of overwhelming, and I don't really have a lot of experience with that. But throughout the week, I kind of became more familiar and a little bit more comfortable. So hopefully, you can see that throughout the Prezi that I felt like it was very beneficial that we learned about this week. Now, instruction, assessment, and curriculum. I'm going to refer to these as the three amigos because they're going to be throughout the Prezi here. They are interconnected with one another, and they are all established around standards. So I like how Mary had said in, I think it was the PowerPoint, she had quoted and said that, our standards are the middle of it all. And then our standards are what informs our instruction. Our instruction informs our curriculum, and then our curriculum informs our assessment. And it's just a loop that keeps going around. Now, besides the three amigos there, we have to think about what our ultimate goal is for our curriculum. Like, what do we want the students to have afterwards? And our goal for them is lifetime wellness. So we want them to be able to have the knowledge and skills that they need in order to maintain those healthy behaviors for a lifetime. Now, once we have this bigger picture, we have this big goal here, we're going to work backwards from that. So we want to figure out, well, okay, we have this goal now. How are we going to go about achieving that goal? What needs to take place? What needs to be taught in order for that to happen? So I had said a little bit ago that our standards are at the middle of it all, and that's very true. They are the framework for our curriculum. So that's what we're going to base the curriculum off of. We have our national standards. And then from there, we're going to talk about the characteristics of effective health education. And we're going to take those characteristics and we're going to plan. So having a team that's ready to dive into all those characteristics is important because we want our curriculum to be effective. We just don't want to write something that's not going to be beneficial to the student. We want to make sure that they are getting the best education that they can, and we need to include those characteristics for that to happen. So in order for the curriculum to be effective, we don't want to just be teaching the facts. So we want students to have the knowledge, but we want them to be able to do as well. So not just know things, but to be able to put them into practice and actually do them. So for instance, if I am teaching my students how to cope with stress, I don't want them to be able to just rattle off a bunch of different facts on, well, these are the steps for dealing with stressful situations. I want them to know that, but then I want them to be able to take it a step further and to actually put it in practice and implement it into stressful situations that they have in the future, whether it's as a teenager or when they're an adult. So those characteristics of effective health education are going to help us with that. And it's going to help us achieve that overall goal of teaching our students how to maintain those healthy behaviors. The best way to go about doing that is with skill-based instruction. So this is going to be how we teach our students how to do rather than just know. So we want to identify the risks that our students have. Now the risks of my students might be different than the risks of your students, and we want to take those and create goals to help meet the needs of our students. So maybe my students are at risk for developing drug habits or trying alcohol, or maybe they're around a lot of people that smoke or chew tobacco. So I want to take those risks and make sure that I am adapting the curriculum to meet the needs of my students, to make sure I'm really honing in on those topics. So once I establish goals based on the risks of my students and I know what goals I need to meet their needs, that's when it's going to come full circle again. And I'm going to talk about those three amigos. So once I establish the goals to meet my students' needs, then I can plan the assessment, then I can plan my instruction, and then I can write my curriculum. So hopefully this wasn't just a bunch of rambling. It made sense to me, and I feel like I have a better understanding of uh, what's entailed when creating a curriculum and knowing what my students need and what I need to be able to do in order to help them achieve the health education goal of maintaining those healthy behaviors and knowing what to do and to being able to utilizing the skills that we're teaching them to put them into practice.